Welcome back to Beauty Uncovered, sponsored by Olaplex. I'm your host, Danielle Frank, and we are doing a second episode about Olaplex's birthday because, why wouldn't we? So today, we have a special guest. It's Coko Taft, curly
Hi.
hair expert extraordinaire
Yes,
and
thank you.
educator as well.
Yes.
And we kind of decided, we'll talk about two of her favorite things, which is, of course, Olaplex, but
Olaplex.
also curly hair. And we're going to talk a little bit about what are the best things for you to do to really best benefit your curly hair? Because apparently one size does not fit all.
No, it does not.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. It's a beautiful sunny day. I'm
That's
excited to
fun.
be here.
That's
Yes.
fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If it was gloomy.
Yeah, no, it's time to enjoy the summer and kind of puts me in the mood for all the holiday stuff. Have you been on
Yes.
social and saw the great stuff going on this week?
Yes. And I feel like the world is opening back up, and I love that too. So excited to get out, spend time with my family. Summer's good. It's going to be a good
So,
summer.
Coko, tell us a little bit about your experience, in the industry and how you got started with everything.
So I've been doing hair out of my mom's kitchen since I was like 14, cutting my own bangs, dyeing my hair. So hair has always been in my back pocket. I think I got away from it when I went to college a little bit. I went natural and I was kind of, doing my other friends' hair in college. But then I went into insurance. And then I was just like, I'm not happy. So I quit my corporate job at like 26 and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go full force with hair. It's something that I always liked to do. And so I quit my job and I went to a school here in Atlanta and I just decided that this was going to be my life.
I don't
Kind
know,
of manifested
insurance
too.
or hair. I don't
I know.
know.
It's definitely, it was not my job. I really felt like I was so out of place.
Yeah.
When you are really confident in what you're doing, your voice is a lot louder. And I feel that now. So it was a great experience to go to school, kind of humbling because you're 26, still trying to figure things out. But
Yeah.
it worked itself out. I was working at a natural hair salon as a assistant at the time, and we did have Olaplex products. So apparently one day I told a client about Olaplex, and she had been getting it every 2 weeks. And one day I was washing her hair. I'm like, "What are you doing to your hair? It's different." She was like, "I've been using the Olaplex you told me about." And I'm like, "Okay."
There you go.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. And at the time I was still kind of putting heat on my hair. My hair was very much damaged. And so I was just like, you know what? If she can get curls, I can too. So I started using number 3 faithfully. And I was a fangirl at first, telling everybody about this beautiful 100 milliliter bottle of that was like $28. And I'm like, well, if you can spend $28 on, food, you can spend it on like
Well,
magic in
here's
a
the
bottle.
thing. I find that in the curly hair world, I
Yeah.
don't think people really have figured out that Olaplex. I mean, in my opinion, it's
You're
like
right.
that's like the one that is amazing on.
Yes. Yes. And that's why I tell everybody, start with number 3. Treatments are so essential to curls. I don't think people think about manipulation as damage. There's 2 extremes. There's either color or you have heat damage for us. So it's we don't want either. But even if you don't do those things, what do you do on a regular basis that can break down the bonds of your hair? So 3 is how I was introduced. And I feel like
Like looking
everyone
at a
should
bottle.
incorporate 3. Yes, love it.
I actually, in some of
People.
the conversations I've had with people, I think there's some confusion, especially in the curly world, where they think it's a protein thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, because I can understand where there would be, concern. A lot of people have protein sensitivities when it comes to their hair. But yeah, not a conditioner,
Not
not
a conditioner.
moisture, not,
Yes.
yeah.
I'll hear a lot of my clients say, well, I used it and it wasn't moisturized. I'm like, it's not for moisture. It's to keep the bonds of the hair strong. I always tell them you have to shampoo this out. It's a pre-shampoo treatment and it's good for weekly use, which is what we like to use it for anyway. But no,
Yeah, I
not a
mean, we
protein treatment.
encourage them use moisture and whatever it is that their hair
Yes.
needs.
Right.
Absolutely. It's funny because it is all about in the long run. And for anybody that is a little bit not entirely sure, exactly what
Yeah.
Olaplex does. The truth is that our hair is made up of disulfide bonds. And that really doesn't mean much of anything other than the fact that it's the structure. It's the thing that's like, you know, I always think of like, you know, a bucket. It's nice and firm and whatever. But when you break those disulfide bonds, now you got a leaky bucket.
Yeah.
So if you have a leaky bucket and you're trying to put conditioner and moisture and everything, it's not really sticking. It might be a little wet in there. There might be a little puddle, but it ain't staying. So you have to have strong disulfide bonds in order for your other products to work.
Very true.
And it
starts there.
Right. And so, I mean, I think it's a very important thing for people to make that differentiation, because I think there's a little confusion. And the other great thing about it, especially if you do have issues with protein that is missing and you're looking to replenish it, you know, when we're regularly using this, we're preventing those bonds from breaking. Yeah. And when too many of them do break, that's when, you know, there's like a chemical reaction and it eats all the protein in the hair. So that's stopping that. So you're getting the optimal thing in one product. So
and I also think people don't understand like protein sensitivity is not necessarily a thing as far as like, it's more so moisture protein balance. If you're going to be using protein in your hair, the hair is made up of protein, but you need to have a balance of that.
Well, you got to understand, people freak out because they've come to realize, and it's true, that you can OD on protein. You know, you can have too much protein and your hair will feel like straw.
And not replenish that with moisture. So it's essential to know your hair. I mean, that is like key essential, not someone else's hair, but your hair. Like it's important just to keep it strong and healthy. I always say incorporate number 3, like hands down. Okay, I don't care what you're doing.
I'm going to ask you a question. So when you're in the salon, what is the number one thing that you're kind of trying to get across or trying to work on in the salon, or like your coworkers are all talking about when it comes to curly hair?
I don't think you're ready for that.
What?
Okay, so I will say like hair dysmorphia is a big thing in the curl community. Okay, and that is
explain what hair dysmorphia is. I think it's the first time I've ever heard that.
So hair dysmorphia is basically like having or seeing someone else's hair and seeing that as more appealing than what you have. I think we do it a lot in life, even if we're like, you know, in fitness and we want that body, or we see that body as more appealing, or, you know, but in hair and curly hair, there is a lot of bigger ringlets, wanting of bigger ringlets, or thicker hair, or hair that goes here, or hair that lays down like this. Like, I feel like there's a lot of that going on instead of loving what you have and being confident in that. It's like you can wear any type of hair, right? If you're confident in, other people will be too. So dysmorphia in the hair or the texture hair community is super. I feel like I'm always like debunking, pulling into my clients about their hair and to love what they have. As soon as they get a compliment though, it's like, okay, I'm here. I'm here. We're here to stay. When's my next appointment? Love that.
Yeah, but if we were to go by that theory, that means I have hair dysmorphia because I am not blonde.
Really? What did you
know? A girl, I have like a level 5 hair.
I feel like a lot of us have it though. There's some days I'm like, look, okay, I need you to do something else today. Or there's just days that I will put so much effort into my hair and I want it to look like something else. I want it to lay down. I want it to be bigger. Or I see someone else's hair. I'm like, God, I wish I had that. Like the length is like a big thing too. But we'll all get there.
We're getting into weaves and everything like that. I mean,
yeah. And that's not even bad. It's just keeping your hair up as you go. And then like, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're not going to get there. I mean, just talking even just length and growth, your hair grows about 6 inches on average each year, which is
wind curl, which actually equates to like 2, depending on the curl.
Right. Look at this. Right. The lies. The lies.
I always make jokes. My middle child has curly hair. Born with pin straight hair, didn't get curly until he was a teenager. Wow. And it's like ringlets. And so
Yeah.
I always kid around, like I'll give my haircut and I'm like, I'll see you in 6 months because it's going to take a while for him to have any
For
kind of length.
mhm.
So
Even me
yeah.
right now, I'm like, I got a trim, but I'm like, I don't want to trim my hair again. But I'm like, I know better. Like, of course I know better. But it's like, it'll all calm down when it's supposed to. Just keep doing your routine, incorporate good products, especially in Olaplex. I cannot stress that. Because if you're looking for curl health, seriously, if you're looking for curl health and uniformity in your curls, a lot of us are doing heat styles, blowing it out, putting it in protective styles. And you're not actually getting the moisture in the hair, in our hair. We used to be told to like run from water, run to the water, okay? Because it'll be so much better. I always ask my clients, like, I was like, I can see my hair when it's wet, but when it dries, I don't see it anymore. I'm like, what does that tell you? Water is super essential in your
It's
curls.
hydrating.
It's the best. Yeah, it's the best.
So let me ask you something. Like, it's very funny. I recently did a post about hair types.
Yeah,
Obviously there's hair types, everything from straight like myself all the way
yeah,
over.
yeah.
Can you like kind of do a little bit of a breakdown of the different hair types that are out there?
Yes,
And I also want to get to almost like what each individual type, I would assume, need a different care, but is there also like
yeah,
a uniform, like everybody should be doing this if you have
yeah.
curly hair?
Yes. So for consumers or regular people, I would say like types 1 through 4, right? So you have your straight for the type 1, you have your wavy for your type 2, you have your curly, um, S curl ringlets for your type 3, and your type 4 is your kinky, coily, something like my hair is right now, super tight. Um, but I feel like all across the board, everyone should probably be having a lot of water in their hair regardless. Okay.
So
A
when
root,
we say a lot of water, I just
yeah.
for full clarification, I mean, what are you talking about with that? Because like,
So,
all right, like for me, I would look at it like, all right, I have water, but then I dry it. Like,
right. So water, I always like to tell my clients like at least 3 to 5 minutes of just getting your hair wet. Now, if you're on the type 3, 4, it might take a little longer, higher density, which
yeah.
means you have a lot more hair on your head. It might take about 5 to 8 minutes to really break that hair up, get in there and let that water really penetrate your hair before you go in with your shampoo, your conditioner, um, or any treatments that you're going to use. It's super important to just allow the hair to actually get wet so it's able to open that cuticle and the products are able to absorb into the hair. So I would say from like, a type 1 person, their hair gets probably wet really, really quickly, right? Type 4, it probably takes a little bit longer. Probably need a little bit more saturation, sometimes 10 minutes just to really get your hair wet. But I would say across the board, we all need a treatment like Olaplex number 3. We all need it because we're always doing something to our hair, whether it's coloring, cutting, touching it. I know I like to twirl and whirl my hair from time to time when I'm sitting down, brushing. People don't think, like I said, of manual manipulation. Um, Always getting trims are essential too. Getting your trims,
Yeah.
some like type 1 hair, maybe like depending on what you're doing too, if you're color treated, if you are somebody that has like a shape cut that you're trying to keep up, we like
I
to
was going to
say
say, I
every
have to
four
do
to
it every
six.
5 weeks or I look ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Every like 6 to 8 weeks about that. Or someone who, doesn't really, they might, come to the salon every, I don't know, so often. So maybe twice a year if they're using more stretch styles.
I always
Um,
say that if, and I used to say this to my clients, like if they had
yeah.
long hair and they were trying to grow out their hair,
Yeah.
um, so long as you were really, really taking care of your hair and
Yes.
not having those split ends,
Right.
like hydrating like man on your ends, because
Yeah.
I am always, always shocked how many
Yeah.
people do not use conditioner.
Yeah.
Shocked. Because
And they
I
have long hair.
understand. Yeah, I understand that like oily scalp. Some people have a lot,
Yeah.
but take a look at your ends.
Yeah. And
Unless
they're the
they are
oldest part of your hair
gorgeous
too.
and beautiful
Yeah.
and aren't split or anything, you should be putting it on your ends.
You are not describing my ends right now. You're like, no, they are definitely. I just had one, but I wear my hair out a lot. So I'm on the type 4 range. So if I'm wearing my hair out a lot, they're kissing on each other. They're like, yes, let's make a knot. And they do. They make a lot of knots. So for me to wear my hair like this is always a risk. So I do get trims pretty often. I also have shape, so I get my trims pretty often. But I use a heck of a lot of number 8. Okay.
So let me ask you something. If because I do think there's a lot of people that have really hard time finding someone that can cut curly hair.
Yeah.
I was really lucky to have really great trainers that taught me how to. I've said it to, oh, golly gee willikers, what is her name? I'm blanking out. I was saying to someone recently that I was trained on all the mechanics by some of the best in the business. Mm-hmm. However, would I ever say, yeah, babe, come on over, I'm going to cut your hair, because it's not my regular clientele. Yeah. And curly hair is a different kind, like you're handling it a completely different way. And though I would do an adequate job, I would do a clean job, but I don't think I could create the kind of artistry that I see so many people make. So I want to know, how do people look for, like, what are you looking for? What kind of training would you tell them that they should be looking from their hairstylist?
So first things first, get a consultation from whoever, because that's essential. Trust in the curly world. I don't care. Actually, I don't even care what community it is. If it's straight hair, wavy hair, naturally coily hair, you want to build the trust factor. Everyone doesn't have what I like to call curl integrity, where they're going to be like, yes, I can do your curls, and then they blow your hair out. Though that's not curly hair. So really get a consultation, see how they cut. Do they cut dry? Do they tell you to come in maybe 1-2 days of like a wash and go, how you normally wear your hair, or maybe it's a twist out that you normally wear your hair. Right. And, can they cut your hair dry? So really asking them the questions of like, how often do you cut curls? What type of cutting do you do? Do you, cut my hair dry or wet? Do they go curl by curl? Do they kind of like break the hair and give you shape? I always was
curl by curl.
Yeah. And curl by curl is not a bad thing, especially for somebody who might wear their hair like this. It's all one even like uniform curl all around.
I was going to say, I have to admit, like, depending on the person though, because sometimes
it does depend.
For instance, my son was like all one length.
Yeah.
He now developed all these curls, but now it's all weighed down. Yeah. And I'm like, we need to round this, because if you don't round it, you're not going to, like, he loves his curls now.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit more than just curl by curl. That's like creating a shape and then going in and getting the detail.
And usually if we are creating a shape, I would, depending on the hair, like I have clients that have 3 different textures in their hair. Like their crown, I can only see what their hair is doing when it's dry. Some clients, they're wavier. So it's like all their hair is uniform. They're also trying to grow it out. So I would do a wet cut and maybe, a preliminary wet, and then go back and do a dry finish cut. I always say a cut is never finished. I don't care what kind of hair you have, never finished. I'll get in the chair and I'm like, they'll get in the chair at the end. I'm like, I could just take a little bit more off. Yeah. And it's okay. Like depending on what they're doing. I have clients that only wear twist outs, and they're okay with that because they like the stretch look. They like their hair to be longer. They're not really into shrinkage. So then we'll cut their hair wet, make sure that it's all even, and twist it up, and they'll be on their way. They'll still have a shape. Right. It'll be like a one length, a bob kind of, usually circular. Yeah, so if they're pulling their hair left or right, that's my right, then they'll be fine, they'll be fine. So it just really depends on what you're looking for, what your goals are. And, talk to your stylist about what your goals are. Is it to grow it out? Is it to get it healthy? Is it to, hey, and that's another reason why I like to cut, especially if you come to me new. If I cut dry, it's because I want you to see what's going on in the back of your head. A lot of times we're wearing our hair out, we don't even know what's going on back there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so
in fact, even with I've also, yes, the haircut is incredibly important, especially if you're really looking to kind of release those curls from the weight of it sometimes, depending on, the hair type. But I also, like I was talking, I have a niece, like her curls were like basically straightening out, and then there would be a wave pattern, and then there would be a curl, and it was like, it was all over the place. And what we winded up doing, I'm like, sweetheart, I said, first of all, you're again, all one length, but for certain hair textures, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. It's like, it's almost like that straight. And that
Mm-hmm.
In fact, actually, I think that's like a trend that's going on TikTok right now, where there's all these people that had no idea they had
They
curly
have
hair.
curly hair. And I love it. It's like discovering a whole new world. It's like my hair can literally go from one thing to the next. So a lot of
Right.
times, even me, like my clients are wearing their hair big because they haven't mastered their curls. So when they see their hair down like this, it's like, oh, I can have both. A lot of times we wear our hair huge or in twist outs or manipulating it. So when they see their hair actually laying down, it's like, I
Yeah.
have options. So that's awesome that I see girls on TikTok like, I have curly hair. I'm not going to fight anymore.
I actually want to talk about another TikTok trend because
Yeah.
it is interesting that this is being seen all over the place and it goes back to water. Have
Mm.
you been seeing that?
Is it the
Where they're
bowl?
taking buckets of water
Mm-hmm.
and they're drenching their hair.
Yeah.
And while it's literally drenched, they're putting the product in
Yeah.
and then they're going back in the bucket.
And just scrunching.
Yeah. I
Now look
have
here.
mixed feelings about it. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I think there is a certain level of benefit
Yeah.
of you having your hair relatively damp and
Yeah.
putting the product in?
Scrunching. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it helps with the disbursement, you know.
Yep.
But like dunk, put the product in, dunk. What are you thinking? Like seriously, what do you think when you see that?
A lot of work. More work than if you were to
Oh,
just
yeah,
get
a
in the
lot of work.
shower.
But what I'm also saying is dilution of products.
Products. Yeah. And I don't know if I've seen them actually put the product in or if there's more so like conditioner in the water and they're just scrunching. I've seen that. And
I
even
haven't
then
seen
I'm
that.
like,
I've seen them actually putting product in their hair
oh,
and then
wow.
dunking again because they feel as though, yes, you're going to lose a little bit of product, but it's going to spread more evenly.
Yeah.
Now, I'm like I said, I understand that water can sometimes be a great catalyst to kind of have even distribution.
Yeah.
But to me, that just seems like wasteful.
So a lot of times I tell my clients to do their hair in the shower, right? There's a large excess of water,
My
but
son
they
does.
tell me the
He puts
same
number
thing.
6 in his hair once he got
Yeah.
like done with the shower and he's squishing it in.
Yeah. And I love putting like a leave-in in the shower with you because you just have all your water right there before you get out. But I feel like they've mentioned that, like, so I'll put the gel in and then by the time I hop out, I have nothing. I don't have any holds because the water dilutes the product. So it's just like having a happy medium. That's why you need to know your hair because it's like, okay. Or just test on a few things. I know if I flipped my hair over and put it into a bowl, it's not going to work for me. I know that for certain. Then I'm going against my cuticle. I'm going to have frizz. I'm just going to have frizz forever. But I love who it is working for because I know I've seen a guy doing it. He had beautiful ringlets and his hair looks super soft and shiny.
No, I've seen people have success with it, but I don't know the product.
I love
Feel
the
like
trend.
I think they would have had the same amount of a success if it was just a different methodology. I do think part of it is sensationalism and visual and whatever, but it does seem really excessive.
You just described TikTok. I seen a girl actually doing like on TikTok, which is so crazy because I'm a hairstylist. I'm like, stop. So I seen her doing like the finger trick where she coils and she brings it back down. The finished product was a curling wand. The ends were completely straight. I was like, if you don't know hair, you would be like, yes, let me try this method, knowing that you don't get that. And I'm like, oh, why are you doing this to people? I mean, she had so many views, so many likes. And I was like, as a hairdresser, I'm like, being able to identify the actual curl and how you got it, mind blowing.
I have to say,
do it.
What was it? I talked to Corey on Monday. Corey Couts over in sales, and he said to me at one point, we were talking about color corrections, and it was funny because he was saying, "You might lie, but your hair doesn't."
It's very true.
It's very true.
My client something, they'll be like, "No, I haven't done that. I haven't put heat in my hair at all. I'm washing their hair, washing it some more." Yeah. So what happened to this piece right here? It's not curling. Oh, that was that one time I did a heat. This is like brand new. Like, this is not like grown out. This is like, so when, no. They're like, oh, well, it was like 2 weeks ago. Oh, tell me more. Or if they have like oils in their hair, and we've discussed like probably not putting so much oil, especially like if it's not like Olaplex number 7 that actually, breaks down and water, soluble.
Yeah.
So especially if it's like stuff like that, I'm like, what's in your hair? They're like, I just put a little bit of this, a little bit of that. it tells me before you, I'm like, we're going to do a clarifying. Come on. We're going to clarify your hair. Let's go.
Oh yeah, no, actually that's what I wanted. I wanted to ask you about some of the more common care items that we all do with curly hair, because we have talked about clarifying before. We've also talked about oils, but I think there's a lot of confusion out there because there's some people that'll say, oh, you should be clarifying all the time. And then others saying just a couple of times. Then there's the oils. Oh my gosh, the questions I get about oils. Oils, like everybody's making up their own oils. And I keep on saying, like, just because they said it on the internet does not mean it's true. Like, I've gotten to the point where I'm looking up every single oil that people are bringing up and looking up clinicals.
Yeah, I personally don't use any oils in my hair that is not Olaplex #7, because oil and water do not mix until you find products that actually are water soluble.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want to do a post about this and really show they do not mix. So when you're throwing them on your hair, water is just repelling. So a lot of people think they have low porosity hair when you have just oils on your hair. And that's essential as to why you need to clarify and give yourself a new canvas. A lot of us are not clarifying. We're just throwing moisture onto our hair because it's dry. It needs moisture. It needs a clarifying shampoo so it can get everything that it needs. And you want your clarifying shampoo to be moisturizing. You want it to,
which is hard.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to find right now. And I feel like there's a lot of products on the market, even that I've used to use, that, are super drying. We're not going to mention them, but if you know, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you want to make sure it's super moisturizing. It's getting everything off, but it's not stripping your hair. Then you're able to, I also like to say, like, if you can find a lot of slip and you're able to tangle in that first shampoo, golden. Then go in with your moisturizing products. Yeah.
Coko, I'm going to go there. I'm going to tell everybody on here to go to Olaplex.com and take a look at something that might begin with a C, and go take a look. We'll just leave it at that. We'll just drop it at that. Because at this point, when we're recording this, we have no idea if they're supposed to know. But you know what? You're our friends. Go to Olaplex.com. Just saying.
Yes. And tell us about it once you're done.
I know. So, but I want to go back to the oils.
Yes.
Because I do think that there's a lot of confusion about it, and actually I plan on having Joe Santi on, because we're going to talk about dimethicone, because dimethicone freaks people the heck out, freaks them out. But I think it's because its earlier manifestation was like not water soluble. It was like, so think of it this way, like on certain silicones back in the day, you put it on the hair. Plastic. And yes, it'll give you slip, it'll give you shine. But the problem is it's also choking out moisture from the hair. Yeah. Now, silicones have to be used in a certain way. It has to either be mixed with something that's going to have a moisturizing benefit, and will replenish your hair, while protecting it, and is water soluble. Or at the very least, you've got to moisturize your hair intensely before you put that stuff on, right?
Yeah, right.
The thing is that, and Joe explained it so well. I actually even talked to Lavinia, who is a chemist here. She was explaining that as you're mixing in certain things, that's the beauty of chemistry. You're mixing in more things. You are changing the molecular weight of the molecules of the dimethicone, and it actually changes it to water soluble and something that gets absorbed beautifully.
Yeah. It's super important. I feel like I'm a fan of silicone. I know my hair loves it, and I'm a hairstylist. So it's like certain people, certain hair needs it. It's like, so for me, my hair is very coarse. It's very much like rigid, frizzy. My hair does beautiful with silicones. I feel like in the curly community, or when you have curls, there's this like stigma against no silicone. But it's like having that knowledge is key, and how it plays into your routine. So
I also think that there was a little bit of a campaign. maybe by certain companies that were taking,
Mm-hmm.
whatever to make it sound like, oh, to kind of appease that. But I don't think
Yeah,
silicones are not bad. They're a
they're
tool.
not.
I
Yeah,
think it's just that unfortunately, some people were not using it in the way it was meant to be used.
right. Or not, like you said, washing their hair to be able to, or having it be water soluble where it's coming out of the hair. And no,
Well,
just
think about it.
knowing,
We
just
can't pile thing after thing after thing on our
yeah,
hair
no, you
and
can't.
expect it to be moisturized. Where it's like I've seen people put things in their hair thinking, I got to bring it some shine. Oh, it's not
Yeah,
looking right. And they're trying to
right,
soften it. Meanwhile,
right.
you're piling on layers onto that hair and it's
Yeah.
starving out, it's choked out.
And when you think about skin, you would never like just go and start piling on moisturizer, toner without washing your face and making sure
Mm.
that everything's off before you go in with your serums. And I know we speak to like, skincare for hair is the same thing. It's like you need to be able to give yourself that nice surface and then know what
We're
things are for,
circling back to a clarifier, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. It's
That's
important.
So
I
how
know
often would you recommend to someone doing a clarifier, just like an average everyday person with curly hair,
depends on how
uses the
often they
standard
wash their
products
hair.
to get their hair curly?
Yeah, I would say it depends on how often they wash their hair. Lifestyle is like a big thing we do not think about. So I wash my hair weekly because my lifestyle allows me to. Plus, how I'm wearing my hair, I have to. I probably get about 6, 7 days out of my hair by Sunday. It's time. It's over. Like we're done. So I would say at least twice a month, which would be every 2 weeks, especially if you're using heavier products. So when we talk about the oils, we're talking about pure oils. We're talking about
Mm.
olive oils and the sapphire oils. We're talking about those heavy duty weighted oils. And especially if you're using like shea butter, you're using a lot of products with like waxy buildup that can cause buildup. So you don't want that. Like even me saying it, I'm like, I don't
I
really
know,
like
even
it. It's just like, no, like I already know where I've been.
right?
This is a blessing compared to where I've been. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
already know how powerful. I know I've gotten a couple DMs from people, just my curls are not acting right. They're acting funky. I'm like, okay, two things. When's the last time you clarified? And when's the last time you had a trim? When they get that clarifier, it's like, thank you so much. I remember her saying like, I feel like I need to like be putting this into my routine because I feel like my curls are new. Like I haven't seen them like this in a long time. It's so essential. And that she's like one of many people like, you saved my hair. I'm like, the clarifier saved your hair. But it's
Absolutely.
important. It's important.
So we're gonna go with one more
Yeah.
topic and then we're gonna have to wrap it up. But I want to talk about summer care. Let's talk
Yeah.
about summer care when it comes to curls. And what do you think
Yeah.
is the top three things that either they have to have in their hair or do to
Yeah.
their hair for the summer?
Okay. So I'm a fan of keeping it simple, right? And it's summertime now. So just having a routine, you know, in the summer, if you are in water, chlorine, anything like that, clarifying is key. If you're
Yeah,
going to be in water this summer, um, protection from the sun is equally important, or just, pollution. I mean, the air right now is super dense, super like, especially in Georgia, it's been like 100 degrees for the last couple of days. I'm so sick of it. I'm like, I've been here for 5 years and I've never seen a 100-degree day, and it is horrible. But
wow.
incorporating Olaplex number 9 to help with those pollutions, just to protect your hair from those free radicals, just to not or keep your hair up. And I would just say, I am a fan of like putting your hair away for a little bit, maybe twist if you're gonna go into water and stuff. Just really having a routine like for the summer. And just your hair care. Like right now, I'm big on using 6 because it's drier right now. The months are super dry.
I love
So I
sex.
just need a little
I
bit more
can't I can't live
moisture.
without it.
Yeah, I just need a little bit more moisture right now because I'm also a gel girl. So I'm like, you can't just be using the gel and going into the sun, then it's crisping your hair, then it's breaking off. Like it's a whole cycle.
Well, you and
So
I are not that far from each other. I mean, you're in Georgia, I'm in
yeah,
Florida.
yeah,
Humidity is a real thing.
it is.
And I've always said with the number 6, like prior to that, I
Yeah,
had to use like 3 or 4 products to keep my hair from frizzing out because
yeah,
being that it's so high lift blonde,
Yeah.
It was literally searching out. It's like a heat sinking missile, like water. And then it would suck it all up. My hair would poof out like a white dandelion. And there was like
You'd be
nothing I could
okay,
do.
well.
So I would have to like apply all the stuff into my hair and to have something clinically proven, 72 hours and no frizz.
Frizz fighting. And that's why
I like it. I just like it. It's a nice cream base. My hair needs the moisture, but it's not so heavy that it's weighing down my hair. It makes me happy.
Yeah. And it's like, I use it in the salon all the time. A lot of my clients right now are coming to get their protective style prep. So we're using a lot of number 6 right now just to give them that smooth blowout, but protect their hair from whatever synthetic extensions that they're going to be putting in their hair. Give them that protection. And I swear I see a difference if I don't use anything in their hair, if I'm blow drying or like a light leave-in, and I use number 6, the smoothness that I see in their hair, and they can feel it. Like they can feel that their hair is moisturized without that weighted or that oily feeling. It's everything. And they come out and their hair is perfectly fine as far as like moisture level. So it's everything. So I would, like I said, having enough water, clarifying the hair, going in with, number 9, especially with these, the heat and the pollution right now. And then, going on top with number 6, just to give yourself some added moisture. I even love number 7, just to protect my hair from flyaways.
Put it on the ends a little bit, or heat. Well, number 9 and number 7 have heat
protectants in them, so you'll be double right there. So
I also feel like, of course, moisture, even outside of the leave-in, is a kind of a huge thing too. Moisture.
Mm-hmm. Well, even 8. Yeah. I mean, the whole line, legit. The whole summer, I'm like, you're gonna get some moisture in there, girl, because I feel like summer here is gonna be very desert-like. Very humid.
I can't even. From what I'm understanding, they're saying the whole summer, like the whole eastern seaboard, is going to be like ridiculous heat wave all summer.
It's June. Like we're not even in July yet. Which
I'm
July
going
and
on
August
a cruise,
are like summer.
Coco.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I'm all excited. I just booked it at Disney one.
Great. Oh gosh, you're gonna have a blast.
My friend Lindsay, I don't know if you know Lindsay, but she like talked me into it.
It's just you two?
It's me and my son.
Oh no.
He's 12. I feel like he's 12 and it's only just like at that time. But admittedly, I'm sitting there thinking, ocean, heat. Like, what do I bring? I'm always like planning my hair stuff first. Forget this makeup. That's just going to melt off. But I'm
trying to get into like the whole clean girl minimal makeup.
Girl, I'm 50 years old. I can't do that.
I don't want to do it. I'm tired for real. These bags are not Chanel, but we're good. We're going to be all right all summer and beyond. Okay. But yeah, that's awesome. Funny. Like, does it go any places and like, or is it just
goes
cruising
to the Bahamas
around?
And they have their own little island, which is nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I've
never been on a cruise. I'm worried I'm going to get seasick.
See, my worry is always like, okay, am I going to have enough to do? I don't want to be bored. And I also don't want to be at sea.
An issue on there.
That's what everyone says. And I'm like, I don't understand.
I don't think I will say this. My friend recently went on one that was a different line, more adults, and they had gambling and stuff. I'm not a gambler.
No.
So it's not.
I did win. We went to Boston and I thought I broke the machine. I won $200 at the casino. And I was like, I broke it. They're like, no, you're winning money. Beginner's luck. And I stopped. I won $200 and I was like, I'm done. I knew to stop. I was like, I'm done here. I don't know what I'm doing.
They have like the whole shows and all that stuff. So you know what? To me, it's like worth it. In all honesty, I just want to hang out with my son, so I'm excited. But I'm sitting here planning because I don't have to bring everything, but I do know shampoo.
How long are you guys going for? Is it like 4 days, 7 days?
It's 4 nights.
Oh, nice.
4 nights. But I feel like I got definitely the number 9 because
yeah.
But I'm like planning. I'm planning.
What's so crazy about number 9? Can I just say, for the longest time, I was using serums with wet hair. I feel like this is so innovative that and I feel like I was using them wrong because most of them were supposed to be for dry hair. So the fact that number 9 is catered to wet hair and I get the results that I'm looking for is just creme de la creme.
And
I
it's
don't even
funny
have to do much
because, you know,
after.
as hairdressers, we always want to experiment with everything. But the truth
Yep.
is the delivery system is when it's wet.
Yep.
If you're deciding to use it when it's dry, it just hasn't got to work.
It's not going to do anything. See, one of my stylists picked it up. I was like, put that back down. Her hair's already dry. Put it back down. So
Yeah.
I gave her 7. I'm like, just take 7. You'll be okay.
Yeah. It is funny how many times I've been in a scenario where like people are using stuff off label, so to speak, and then they're like, it doesn't work.
It's like, you didn't use it right, but it's okay. We have another chance to use it again. It's fine.
Yeah. I think what the problem is, I don't think everybody completely understands sometimes that it's not like, oh, well, I'll just put it in this way. It's the same, right? You know, it would have been dried anyways, or whatever it may be. The truth is that, like I said, delivery system matters.
Yeah,
how it's removed.
For results. Yeah.
You know, if we're telling you use conditioner after, it matters. When we tell you, you know, number 3 is not a conditioner, you rinse this out, you're going to feel coating in your hair. And then depending on how much, your hair might feel dry like straw.
Yeah.
And then you're wondering, why does my hair feel so weird? It's all you didn't wash and condition your hair.
You didn't clarify before. And that's another thing too. I tell some of my clients, like, you know, before you throw on number 3, just clarify first, then number 3, wait your 10 minutes, or 0 and 3, wait today, 20
Coko,
minutes.
I'm like sitting here having like the whole clapping hands emoji in my head.
It's like, I literally want to do like, I wish Olaplex could do like this, like sticker on your like, oh, that would be so awesome. Sticker on your mirror. It's like transparent and it's like the steps in order. You know how many, we wouldn't even get the question on how to use it anymore. They should just come with every like package of like the sticker you just place on your mirror.
I don't know about that because here's the funny thing. Directions are on the bottle.
They don't read. We know that. As stylists, we know they don't read. I'm like,
so if the directions are on the bottle, a sticker on the window ain't gonna matter.
But it's true. I'm like, how to use this? I'm like, nope. Turn the bottle around. You tell me. Because at this point, I've done all that I can do. I'm sure the labels aren't free. Like, we have to do better. We just have to read directions. I remember in 4th grade, this is so random. I didn't read directions on a test. The directions were write your name, come up to the front, you're done. I completed all 10 questions, failed. I wasn't by myself though, but I failed. After that, I'm reading directions. I was so heartbroken.
I tell you, this conversation is really appealing to my ADHD right now. It's not even funny. Completely hysterical.
So bad. Like I would cry the whole day because I was like, you're just picking on me. He's like, I'm not picking on you. This was about reading directions. He did say it like 4 times. Everyone read your directions. I'm like, oh, I've got what's my favorite color? I've got that. Got to the front and I'm like, how come everyone's just standing up so fast? I'm like, I'm not finished yet. Give him the test and he's just like, you failed. I'm like, so I read directions now.
I don't appreciate those things because to me it's like you're just tricking us.
It was a pivotal moment in my life, Danielle. I will read.
Okay, so maybe there was
it was. I told you I was
this teacher who tried to trick his students.
I should call him out, Mr.
Husband. This is the thing that has put Coko on the path
on the mat. Listen, read your directions. They will guide you and lead you to wonderful results every time. Don't take my word for it.
Coko, I appreciate you. We have to do this again because this was fun.
Yes, I feel like there's so many topics we can talk about.
I know.
Thank you for inviting me.
Next time, I'm like, I'm going to have to keep myself a little bit more focused.
I know, it's okay.
We just get all over the place.
Yes.
All right. I'll talk to you. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, of course. Thank you.